Welcome, welcome to Freaked Out with your psychic medium host, Liz. That is me. Okay, guys, I have been avoiding this episode like the plague because there's a lot to say. I've covered this case in the past. I've had fake accounts coming and attacking me heavily, and it's also associated with this account. That doesn't normally happen. I'll have people that don't agree with me, but this was like way crazy. And yes, I am talking about the Kyron Horman case. I am sick and tired of feeling like I can't say what I need to say to defend a child who not only went missing, but I believed was murdered. And I want to talk about this in depth. I've got a lot of details. We're going to go over the case. We're going to go over some details surrounding Terri specifically, and then we're going to talk about my feels on this case. This is a revamping. I've covered it before, but we're going to cover it more in depth today. So I want to put this out there. This person is someone, Terri, is somebody who likes to threaten people's lives often. She's done it in the past. She clearly has no issues with hiring hitmen. And we're going to talk about all that. So if anything ever happens to me, go to the source. She's somebody who, I kid you not, anyone that pisses her off, she will try to take you out. She is that mentally unwell. She doesn't think of the consequences of her actions. And we're going to talk about all of that today. And I am excited to share it all with you. So I've got a little message for Terri before I begin this episode. Yes, I'm talking directly to you, girl. You didn't have the guts to tell the story yourself. You literally sent someone else to hurt a child because you didn't have the guts to do that as well. And you're still out there pretending that you're the victim. So since you're not claiming to tell the story correctly, I'm going to do it on your behalf. Let's go back to the beginning of Terri's life, where I think it's important to share these details to kind of show you what was happening before she even entered into Kyron's life. Terri was 20 years old at the time, and she actually had a boyfriend by the name of Sean Ray, whom, by the way, was only 18 at the time. Ray didn't share this information for quite some time because he kind of thought like, maybe I'm just being crazy, but no, he wasn't. He recounted that a mysterious man had actually appeared with a gun, and Terri, in that same breath, was like, he's here for you. What? And that was only the first instant that happened before Kyron's disappearance. So Sean remembers it as clear as day. They were eating Chinese food in a park, which was near Terri's home in Roseburg, Oregon, and a man just emerged from the bushes carrying a pew-pew. Now, Sean was super scared and freaked out, which I mean, who wouldn't be? He ended up fleeing the scene and later on cutting off all communication with Terri, and I don't blame him. Now, according to Sean, he had no idea why this hit was in place. Now, some have actually speculated jealousy, control, unresolved emotional issues. No clear motive was ever publicized, but I'm going to fill in those blanks for you today. Although Sean didn't report this until after Kyron's disappearance, he was afraid, not even necessarily afraid of being killed or anything, but just sounding crazy. I believe that Sean, I mean, he was 18, who is not as loyal to her as she thought he would be. And from what I can see, there was some flirtation going on with another woman. Now, Terri is one of those people that if your attention is not on her 24/7, she's going to take care of the problem herself, whether that be wiping out somebody else who's the problem, wiping out the person who caused the problem, or anyone who interferes in her life, i.e., Kyron. There was also an inmate who told the police that, yeah, Terri was talking about the hitman with an ex-boyfriend of hers. I believe it. I believe it wholeheartedly. to this day. No charges, though, were ever filed. I don't know if this woman has a horseshoe up her ass or whatever the case may be, but I believe that there is a lot of evidence pointing to her. Now let's move forward into other things that Terri has been involved in. So she was having an affair herself with a Michael Cook. And this person that she was getting on with was a friend of her husband's. There was like a sexting scandal, and of course, no charges. In her early life, she is a Roseburg native, and she had a lot of criminal convictions for DUIs and reckless endangerment. Girl is nutty. And of course, a few years after the Kyron incident, she ended up getting in trouble again for firearm theft. Apparently, she was acquitted for that. Like I said, horseshoe. She stole a vehicle in 2016, domestic violence restraining order, although I kind of got to judge the person who was with her, knowing her history. You know what I'm saying? So, failed polygraph tests, inconsistent narratives, another murder for hire to kill Kane. Also never charged for that either. She also has some friends, some really bad people. But that's just speculation, of course. Now let's talk about this affair with Michael Cook. Following Kyron's disappearance in 2010, Terri began this affair with Michael Cook, and that person was like a high school friend of Kyron Horman, her then husband. In the process of all this shit going on with this child disappearing, she also was like, you know what? Let's bang someone else. There were tons of text messages and photos exchanged between the two of them, and they were all entered into a court document by Kane. And then of course, because she's so nutty, she actually went to his work. He worked at a gym daycare center and was trying to possibly abduct their youngest daughter, Kiara. She had apparently told the daycare to alert her if he came near the child. And Kane also claimed that she tried to do a murder for hire on him too, and I don't disagree with that either. Even in the 2016 situation, she had threatened her boyfriend Joseph with a knife. But since then, Terri has actually relocated to California and now goes by the name of Terri Moulton. She married Jose de Jesus Vasquez Martinez in Nevada in March of 2018. This woman makes Casey Anthony look like a saint. And even Desiree, Kyron's bio mom, singled her out as someone who is not only involved in this, but was solely responsible for Kyron's disappearance. Now let's talk about Kyron and this case a little bit before we go into the details of what I see. So Kyron was only 7 years old when he vanished from Skyline Elementary School in Portland, Oregon. And that was on June 4th, 2010. And that's just over 15 years ago now. He was actually last seen, technically, at his school science fair. He was a bright kid. He was showing off his project about frogs before he vanished. He never made it to class. And it wasn't until 3:45 p.m. that Kane and Terri went to go meet Kyron at the bus stop, and Kyron wasn't on it. By that evening, he was considered missing, and it became one of the largest searches in Oregon history. And no arrests were ever made. No body found, no nothing. Okay, now let's talk about where everybody was during this situation. So Kane, Kyron's dad, he worked at Intel. He had full custody of Kyron since 2004. And that wasn't any other issues, but mom having some health issues and couldn't take care of him. He then married Terri in 2007. They ended up having a daughter in 2008. And then, because of the demise of their relationship, he only filed for divorce after he found out that Terri was trying to get someone to kill him, specifically the landscaper that she hired months beforehand. Let's talk about Desiree, Kyron's bio mom. Again, as I said, health complications, kidney related issues specifically. She ended up suing Terri for $10 million in 2012, but then she ended up dropping the lawsuit so that it wouldn't interfere with the criminal charges. Still firmly believes that Terri was responsible, and so do I. Now, Terri is claiming this, although her story has changed a few times. She dropped off Kyron. She ended up going to 2 stores, Fred Meyer stores. Apparently, there's 2 of them. Apparently, she went to the gym and then she went home. She failed 2 polygraph tests back to back. And she was allegedly sexting a family friend the day after Kyron disappeared. Another thing that has been noted, which is hilarious because I have actually run into this myself multiple times, and I'm sure I'll see it on this video too. She is making fake ass accounts online, defending herself, pretending to be friends. Nobody is going to be your friend. No woman with a brain is ever going to defend you. And I've had that happen on multiple platforms, on multiple occasions. A girl is cuckoo cuckoo. All right, now let's talk about what I see. I don't believe that the landscaper is the person who did the hit on Kyron. I see that the landscaper was only interested in getting money for killing people that were adults. He had zero interest in going after a child. It takes some kind of fuckery to do that. What I see, she has many connections with really scummy people. And I see that she contacted somebody who was, I'd say, in a gang. I definitely believe he did not speak English. She was going to give him a very large sum of money. I see 50K. I believe 25 before the hit and 25 after. I am also seeing that she had done like sexually explicit things to obtain this money. This was something she was planning for a while. I don't know if she had like an OnlyFans or if she had some sort of like webcam girl stuff going on, but I see that it was sexually done, and that's how she ended up paying off these 2 lump sums. Now, because Terri doesn't have the brain capacity to make decisions surrounding things like that, the hitman had set up this whole thing. Like, okay, you're going to take the kid to school. You're going to make it look like you left. The kid's just going to randomly disappear. I see that she got tips and hints to deal with this. What I see is this. Obviously, Kyron went in there with the expectations of his project about frogs. And then Terri was like, you know what? You did such a good job. Now, mind you, she never did this for the kid. You did such a good job. I'm going to reward you with some ice cream or a treat. I'm sensing something like McDonald's related. It seemed like fast food, also a treat associated with it. And Kyron, who actually didn't even want to go with her, was like, that sounds like fun. Let's do that after school today. And she's like, no, we can only do it right now. And then Kyron's little brain was like, but what about my project? I want to get a good grade. I want to do this, that, and the other. Like, this kid was school motivated. It pissed her off, but she was like, you don't have a choice. And she carried him off into her car very quickly and left. I see that she went and met someone around the corner. I keep seeing that this person may have had a secondary person with him as well, but I am seeing that this person came in and Terri took Kyron right to this man, and this man took Kyron away. I see that Kyron had no interest in going off with this random stranger, but she was like, I'll give you $50. And I think she did. I think she handed him like an unnecessarily large quantity of money for a child, and his eyes were like, okay. He didn't want to go with the guy, but he did. Terri didn't say goodbye. She didn't feel empathetic. She didn't feel nothing for this kid. She just let him go. Now, a question that people have for me quite often is, why would she do this? There are many reasons, and we're going to get into this a little later on in the video. I believe that this man took Kyron to some sort of location where he was put into what I would say like a wood chipper. That's the vibe that I'm picking up on when it comes to this case. It's also possible that he took those remains and put it in a landfill or a garbage in a landfill. I am sensing that there is no way that anyone will find Kyron's body. This person was not only a professional, but he knew how to clean it up. Now, when it comes to the equipment used, I see that there could still be fragments of DNA surrounding it in Oregon, Portland specifically, but I am sensing that wood chipper is not used anymore. I believe it was owned by the person that had put the hit on this poor kid. This man, even with the hit on this kid, like I even feel like he didn't even want to do it as well, but the price was right, so he went forward and did it. So people have asked, was she alone when she went to meet this hitman? I am seeing that she was not alone. I'm going to say that she had her boyfriend or her one of her lovers, because I feel like there were a few people, including like a gym buff, that was also there with her that led her to meet this guy. I believe that she was involved with so many men. I'd say that this is like one of 5 men she was seeing at the time. So yes, I would agree that there was a man with her. And then of course, this man and her split off and said, go to your daily routine, go do it so that it looks like you were not doing anything bad during the time of his disappearance. Now, it worked out way better than she anticipated because obviously the kid's going to get a call home, but no one knew he was missing the entire day because he had initially been seen at the beginning of the day. I also keep seeing that something was misplaced. I feel like the attendance record showed that he was there, but I also feel like something had happened where he was misplaced or they felt like maybe he had gone home sick. Like there was a few things speculative, but no one really actually investigated. So why wasn't Kyron seen on any of the cameras? That is, I'm seeing that there was a blind spot. I believe that she intentionally set it up to be under the blind spot. I also believe she didn't have the brain capacity for that, and I see that this hitman was part of that. Did Terri delete text messages, use a burner phone, or coordinate with somebody? Absolutely. She did all of the above. The burner phone, I see that she bought a burner phone for each one of them, so everyone was kind of in the know. But yes, she definitely had a burner phone. I believe that she didn't do anything at all on her real phone, but I'm also thinking that maybe before all of this transpired, she might have had a few text messages here and there, but nothing that would link or give evidence to suggest she did it, which is a bunch of bullshit. I also feel like she had been planning this for months and building it up in her mind that Kyron was the enemy. He didn't listen to her, even though he did. Like, kids are kids. They're going to be more receptive to their bio parent. Just because you came into his life, he's not going to be receptive to you. She was a bitch to him. I feel like he just picked up on her vibes and gave her exactly what she gave him because he wasn't like, oh, mommy. And he loved his mom dearly. She was fucking jealous of that heavily. The part that I had a very difficult time doing was what I believe she did to him. I have talked to Kyron a few times. He is such a good kid. Like he's more into like, you know, digital stuff and technology, and he's incredibly smart. He showed me that she molested him. And that image made me so fucking mad. And I believe that could have potentially been one of the reasons that she decided to go forward with this hit. because she was afraid of what would be revealed. She was afraid he would share things. She was also hurting him, like beating him, hurting him. Like she was a bad, shitty stepmother. And her relationship with her husband was getting more and more toxic as time progressed. And instead of blaming herself in the situation or even Kane, she blamed Kyron. Oh, it's Kyron's fault because he's always taken his side. Like this woman built this bullshit up in her head like a psycho. I also see that she was into some dark shit, dark rituals, obsessive compulsions. She would try to like cleanse or help Kyron's spirit. She also had like a handwritten note, could have even been a diary entry. Now, she burned that the night before Kyron went missing. The words he has to forget and the words no one will know just keep appearing over and over again in my mind in this note. I also see that she kept a folder, probably behind her washing machine, with clippings of missing children, newspaper articles, printouts of some crazy shit. I believe that this obsession to make sure that this went correctly was all she thought about for months on end. I keep seeing the burner phone was being hidden. It could have been under a floorboard. It could have also been in the laundry room. That seems to be her like spot to hide shit. And she would text someone regularly as Big D. I also believe that she even went as far as after Kyron went missing, giving fake tips or messaging Desiree pretending to be someone who hates on her. Like she was just doing some weird shit. She was also looking for other options. So let's say she didn't want to like do a hitman. Maybe she could sell him off to a sex trafficking ring. Child relocation forms on the black dark web. And she felt like she was being watched a lot of the time and would talk in code. She made this uber dramatic even before Kyron went missing. Now, I don't believe that there were just men involved in this. I also feel like there was another female accomplice as well. Definitely a female with a neck tattoo. It could have been somebody related to her. I don't see it being a friend. So possibly somebody who was related, maybe a cousin, something. This woman had also dated a correctional officer at some point. I do believe that this woman also may have been around and going over state line to take him over to the wood chipper. I also see that there was a photo, like a photo of them showing her the job was done. Obviously deleted, but oh my God. What was her twisted reason for doing this? She felt like she wanted to like reset her family. Kyron was first and foremost a reminder of the ex-wife that she couldn't get past. She had super trauma surrounding that because Kane wasn't aggressive surrounding Desiree or causing her problems or, trying to have an amicable relationship. She tried to stir the pot there many a times. But in addition to that, she couldn't handle it. She was under the impression that the two of them were still secretly communicating in love. Like, I hate when people do this. And Terri basically told herself that this was the only way to make her life happy again. She also convinced herself that she was saving him from something worse, projecting her own childhood trauma onto him. And when it comes to the sexting scandal, I would say that although that was going on in the background, I feel like it was a smokescreen. Not a distraction, of course. It was like to focus on that rather than the details of the actual case. What do I feel is going on with her now surrounding this case? In her mind, she's pleased with herself that she got away with all of the things she's gotten away with. But she does have a locked box of items from this case, a drawing that Kyron made, a toy maybe from his backpack, the time that she had given him away, a photo she might have stolen from his room at some point. I also believe that Terri is on some sort of true crime, maybe Reddit, inserting herself in conversations, pretending to be a psychic, to be like, she didn't do it. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. She also has a lot of dreams about him, and they're bad. Like, he haunts her. He does it on purpose, and I don't blame him. I would mess so heavily with my killer too. She keeps getting knocks on the door, thinking that it's the police. She gets knocks on the door, and she is like 24/7 paranoid that somebody's going to come pick her up. And you know what, Terri? Maybe you are psychic, because that's not a, fear. That is genuinely going to happen. There's going to be something that pulls this case wide open, and you, my dear, are going to be in the center of it. I believe that possibly one of the hitmen, or one of the group of people that she was associating, is going to get in trouble. And well, they're going to use this as a bargaining tool to get out of trouble. And that will be enough evidence to tie this woman to this case with evidence, and she won't be able to get away with it anymore. I also believe that Kyron was planning to share information about what Terri did to him sexually in the past. And I see that he was trying to gain the courage to do so. I believe he wanted to tell somebody safe, like mom or a teacher, somebody he really, really trusted, but he just couldn't find the moment to do it. Now, what does Kyron think about all of this? He is still obviously devastated to not be with his family, but he knows that they are thinking about him every single day. He misses his sister. I think there's a few siblings, but he misses his entire family. He just wants his family to know that he knows that they've been working on this and will never stop, but justice is coming. He also wants everyone to know that he is hanging out and enjoying his computer like he is tech savvy in all the best ways. He smiles so brightly. He still comes to me in a child form. I don't see him as an adult. He's still a kid, and I think he'll stay that way until the case is solved. But he's doing pretty okay. Did he suffer? I know that I told everyone that he was put in a wood chip, but I believe that he was like knocked out. There was something humane that took place, thankfully, before it got to that point. So he didn't suffer in a sense. I believe that he might have been given some sort of lethal injection and then put in the wood chipper just as evidence to make sure that he disappeared. And that's the most traumatizing image that I will ever get in my entire life. But anyways, guys, that is everything that I have on the Kyron Horman case today. I know it was pretty heavy, but we wanted to share all of the details and make sure that you guys got everything I felt. And don't fall for any of her stuff. Have any of you guys ever dealt with Terri? In comment sections, because she will not stop. She has harassed me on every platform. It's nuts. I've had one other family do it, which is Trenton Duckett's bio grandma with his mama. Oh my God. She didn't pretend she wasn't anyone, but she is also someone who is in Delulu land. But anyways, guys, next episode, we are going to be covering Jennifer Kessie. I did cover a video on TikTok a couple of years ago. I actually went to where I believe she was. So I want to do a big deep dive on here for you guys to see. Until next time, guys, stay freaked out.